Sometimes there are those games that are so amazing, you'd think a sequel would immediately be in development. Unfortunately for these games, that couldn't be further from the truth. From cancellations to endless rumors, there are millions of reasons why they don't happen. Some even get fully produced, only to be pulled months before release. Today, we are uncovering 10 video game sequels you will never get to play. Now before we go on to our number one pick, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And for more awesome countdowns like this, subscribe to The Gamer for all your gaming nerdiness. Number 10. Half-Life 3. Could it be any other? For nearly a decade, this game has been the prime example of a sequel that will never happen. The last game, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, ended with a bombshell cliffhanger, so we patiently waited for news of Episode 3 or a new game. For the next few years, Valve co-founder Gabe Newell would assure us it was in production. Then a few more years pass, and he resorts to basically pleading the fifth. Now there isn't a gaming convention or award show where we don't pray to see that shiny number 3 on the screen. There was even proof that another company, Arcane, was working on an Episode 4 back in 2006. Since Episode 2, Valve has been fairly busy. Along with critical darlings like Portal 1 and 2, they regularly manage Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Go, two massively popular FPS multiplayers that are quite lucrative. Of course, we can't forget the behemoth that is the Steam Store, which is the largest online marketplace for PC gaming. The sad truth may be that at one point Half-Life 3 was a thing. Then the company got too distracted by new ventures, and it slowly fell to the background. Half-Life will be 20 years old next year. Do you think there's hope for a 2018 reveal? We'll find out. Number 9. Prey 2. Let's go back a few years. It's E3 2011, and a really big year for Bethesda Softworks. Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is releasing in the fall, and they're showing it off to everyone. But a little gem got snuck into the press conference, and everyone buzzing. The lights dim on stage, the giant screen flashes on, and Johnny Cash's rusty cage blasts through the speakers. What follows is quite possibly the greatest game trailer ever. An intergalactic bounty hunter spots a wanted criminal in a market square. A chase begins, and he shows off tons of awesome guns, rockets, and jetpack boots. The trailer ends and the title fades in. Prey 2. The original Prey was a fairly well-reviewed game, and certainly was a hit. After the reveal, there wasn't a person online who didn't know about Prey 2. We got a tidbit of gameplay, concept art, and were given a release year of 2012. But as time went on, several delays occurred due to quality concerns, until the game was officially canceled in 2014. Then in 2016, Prey was announced and released in March of 2017. It was a series reboot and completely separate from Prey 2. This one's pretty simple according to Peter Hines of Bethesda. The game wasn't going the way they wanted it, and it was best to start over. Hey guys, we're excited to announce the Premium Network. The Premium gets you early access to videos from The Richest, Screen Rant, The Talko, The Sportster, The Things, and many other great channels. Literally thousands of videos in one place with an ad-free browsing experience. Check out the Premium by clicking on this link. Sign up for free and start binge-watching videos from your favorite channels. Number 8. Silent Hills. The story behind the breakout of beloved game designer Hideo Kojima and Konami is riddled with mystery. We may never know the full scoop or get any definite answers, but what we do know is it spelled bad news for the highly anticipated Silent Hills. Thought to be a reboot of the franchise, the game would have paired Kojima with cult film director Guillermo del Toro and Walking Dead star Norman Reedus. Fans were tipped off about the proposed game when a strange demo appeared on the PlayStation Store. Titled PT, the demo took players through the same room many times, each time adding a new element of scares or mystery. The internet banded together in order to solve the intricate puzzles laid out to progress to the ending. That's when the teaser for Silent Hills was first shown. Not much else was released aside from an amazing trailer at Tokyo Game Show 2014. Sadly, after news of trouble with Konami, Del Toro confirmed the cancellation in April of 2015. It wasn't all bad news though, as Kojima is teaming up with Reedus and Del Toro for his upcoming game Death Strandings. Could it be a spiritual successor to Silent Hills? Number 7. Conker's Other Bad Day. Here we are at the second Rareware game to make the list. After the release of Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64, Rare got right to work on the sequel. The game would have followed Conker's unsuccessful tenure as a king. Naturally, he spends all of his kingdom's money on alcohol, parties, and women of the night. He is thrown in jail. The game would have started with a daring escape from prison before Conker is executed. Barry would have returned as a cyborg named the Barinator, who hunted down Conker throughout the game. Of course, there would have been tons of movie references, new characters, and and another monster to fight. Everything was on track until 2002. That year, Microsoft purchased Rare and put the game on hold. Instead, they had a team develop a reboot of the first game for the Xbox called Conquer: Live and Reloaded. Then the company was put on Connect duty, and most of their original titles dried up. Conquer's other bad day was officially canceled by Microsoft on September 16, 2008. Then at E3 2014, fans were given a great surprise. Conquer was announced as a playable character for Project Spark, and even had a DLC game called Conquer's Big Reunion. While it wasn't exactly what we asked for, it certainly didn't hurt to get a little more Conquer. Number 6. Dead Space 4. Survival horror has become a somewhat bloated genre in gaming. From zombies to aliens to zombie aliens, we're starting to scrape the bottom of the barrel. But every so often we get a breath of fresh air, and its name was Dead Space. While not a commercial cash cow, the critical acclaim allowed 2 sequels to be made. All 3 are praised for the innovative gameplay and terrifying level design. Yet with each release, the sales figures dropped lower and lower. Dead Space 3 shipped less than 1 million copies. That problem is surely why EA outright canceled the 4th installment. Former EA president Frank Gibeau said a franchise like Dead Space would need at least 5 million players to be successful. Wow, it's a situation where, to sell more copies, they needed to broaden the audience, but in turn, it would turn off die-hard fans who love the difficulty and gore of the series. Visceral Studios says the series is not dead, and they would love to do another game, but they aren't paying the bills to finance it. Plus, they have their hands full with a Star Wars game in the works. Here's an idea: what about a survival horror Star Wars game? Number 5. Fez 2. The development of the indie hit was chronicled in the documentary Indie Game the Movie. In it, we sympathize with the creator, Phil Fish, who suffered a 5-year battle to get his game made. It was developed by Fish and one programmer. In its first year of release, the game sold over 200,000 copies and garnered unanimous acclaim. Unfortunately, Fish's online presence did not receive the same praise. Many criticized his use of Twitter to comment on the gaming industry, often making vulgar and rude comments against other users. Despite his unpopularity, the game remained highly successful, and in early 2013, he announced Fez 2. We were given nothing more than a 48-second trailer building up to a title, yet it was enough to get everyone excited. For the next few months, Fish returned to his usual Twitter shenanigans until July 27, 2013. That afternoon, he tweeted, "I'm done. Fez 2 is canceled. Goodbye." What the heck happened? Did they run out of money? Was there some big lawsuit? Apparently, due to the non-stop hate he was receiving online, Fish was considering leaving the industry for good. He was pushed over the edge after Game Trailer's Marcus Beer berated him for 3 minutes on air. Was Phil just overreacting? Number 4. The Wolf Among Us Season 2. Season 1 of The Wolf Among Us has gone down as one of, if not the, best Telltale game so far. Based on a Vertigo comic series, the game takes classic fantasy stories like Snow White and sets them in a gritty modern-day setting. You play as Bigby Wolf, a detective and former big bad wolf who protects the city of Fabletown. The game was released back in 2013, with the final episode released in July of 2014. Since then, there has been radio silence on the future of the series. Unfortunately, Telltale seems to be preoccupied with much larger franchises. Just in the last 2 years, they have released games for Batman, Minecraft, and Guardians of the Galaxy. With all these AAA properties in production, there is less and less time for smaller games like Wolf. It also doesn't help that it was one of their lower selling titles, especially when compared to heavy hitters like The Walking Dead. Then we have to consider all the time it would take to rework all the assets into the new game engine. Sadly, it looks like the cards are stacked against the Wolf here, but we still have hope, and you should too. Maybe they'll surprise us in 2018, or 19, or 20. Number 3. Star Fox 2. Star Fox 2 is kind of a special story. When the game was officially canceled, it was actually fully finished. Yeah, the game was in production since 1993, until it was axed in 1995 with about 95% complete. A software engineer that worked on the game said it was likely canceled for one reason: graphics. That same year marked the release of the PlayStation, which had 3D graphics far superior to the SNES. Nintendo didn't want to compete with old generation hardware. Then, only 2 years later, Star Fox 64 was released, which borrowed elements from the canceled game. Now here's the twist. Back in June of 2017, Nintendo announced the release of the Super Nintendo Classic this upcoming September. It will be loaded with 21 SNES titles, including Star Fox 2. Yep, Nintendo is finally letting the world get its chance to play it. Oh, did we say the world? We meant the lucky ones who can pick up a system before they sell out. And if the release is anything like the NES Classic, good luck finding one. Of course, you could always pirate a copy of the alpha version, but we know our loyal viewers would never resort to any illegal practices, right? Number 2. BioShock 4. No game series is a better example of the games as art than BioShock. Ken Levine, creative director of the franchise, crafted one of the best-selling series that also happened to change game storytelling forever. With the trilogy ending with BioShock Infinite in 2013, fans were floored by its accomplishments, so we waited for the next game to push even further and blow our minds. Instead, we heard the exact opposite. Levine decided to wind down Irrational Games, choosing to take a smaller team to work on new game ideas. Not a good sign. He also stated that 2K Games would retain the rights to BioShock, and it was up to them to make a fourth game. So there's technically still a chance for other games, but not with Ken Levine, which means its only similarity to the series will be its title. It doesn't even look like 2K is focusing on working on another anyways. They quietly removed BioShock from the App Store. Again, not a good sign. Well, at least there's still hope for a BioShock movie. Oh, right, they canceled that too. Come on, guys! Number 1. Banjo 3E. Sadly, this is the first of two Rareware sequels to make the list. The company basically owned the gaming world during the 80s and 90s, releasing tons of classics like Battletoads. With the advent of 3D gaming, the company entered the new medium with guns a-blazing. They released hit after hit, including Donkey Kong 64 and Perfect Dark. Probably their most popular series was the 3D platformer Banjo-Kazooie. The first game was released in 1998, and the second, Banjo-Tooie, was released in 2001. Both were hugely successful, financially and critically. It was inevitable that a third game would quickly begin production. Not much is known about the proposed sequel. The only footage available came from a tech demo at Space World 2000, although no gameplay was shown. It's safe to assume it would have been a continuation of the mechanics and style of the first two, just with updated graphics. Then in 2002, Rare was bought out by Microsoft, and the game remained dormant for many years. It wasn't until 2008 when a third game was finally produced, Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts. To say it was a departure from the other games is an understatement. The game was hated by fans for focusing on driving gameplay rather than the platforming that we love so much. The true Banjo 3E is still unmade, and it will likely stay that way. The upcoming release of Sea of Thieves by Rareware looks to be a return to form for the company. After years of developing Kinect sports games, they're finally back with the charm and humor that made them great. So, do any of these games still have a chance of coming out? Want to play the most? Let us know in the comments down below. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends. Then check out our playlist for more awesome videos, and definitely subscribe to keep up to date with The Gamer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on The Gamer.